how do you see the dynamic going here? If they don't cut enough, what would be the impact into the broader financial system?
Yes, indeed, and good morning. Just to say, Bank of Ireland, we're 241 years old, 50 in the United States, so it's really good to be here this week. We're meeting our investors and also our corporate clients. Yeah, I mean, we know that inflation has come down. A year ago, it was 8.6% in the Eurozone, now closer to under 3%, and likely to get to that long-term target of being closer to 2% over the next 12 to 18 months. That's going to impact, clearly, monetary policy, and we can expect rates to come down, I think, over the course of this year. And certainly that's a positive generally to get to a more normalised rate environment, certainly for Bank of Ireland.
Now, how much does it matter to you how much they cut?
Well, it is important because there is, I guess, much of our earnings, our interest income is protected from our hedging strategies. That's really important. What's important from my perspective as CEO is that we get visibility on what a normalised rate is out over the next 2 to 3, 4 years. That's almost more important than the rate cut. But we assume our model, so if I think about, Bank of Ireland is generating returns last year of 17.3%. We've got a target of 15% out to 25. That is supported by a rate environment of between 2 and 3%. It's that range that is the sweet spot for Bank of Ireland.
Well, do you think that it gets there?
I do, yeah. I mean, if you look at the progression of inflation coming down, we'll see, I mean, there's views as to whether the ECB will move on rates in April, possibly more likely June, but I think we can begin to see that rate coming down.
Now, if you believe that rates might be somewhat higher for a little longer, do you have any worries as a CEO here that perhaps the economy softens too drastically, too quickly as well?
Well, there's certainly there is a risk in the Eurozone generally in relation to growth, and that's clearly informed by the rate environment. From an Ireland perspective, I mean, as a CEO of Bank of Ireland, my focus is on our home market. 76% of our earnings come from Ireland. Ireland's story is one of, first of all, banking consolidation, so that's a positive factor for the Bank of Ireland business model, supporting those customers. But also, Ireland will grow, and we expect economic growth in Ireland to be between 3 and 4% out over the next number of years. So that's very supportive. Again, back to that point around our targets, that 15% return, the sustainability of that return is in good shape.
And from your perspective, what would be the biggest driver of that growth?
Yeah, I mean, certainly in Ireland, we have a number of very positive factors. Last year, our balance sheet, our Irish balance sheet grew by 23%. Large increase year on year, very much supported by the mortgage market. Other areas of growth, so our business income was up strongly, 8% increase in customer numbers. That's very strong. And our wealth business, a very important part of our business, our wealth assets grew by 18% last year. That level of progression last year, and we see that through over the next few years, is going to be supportive of our earnings capability.
I'm glad you mentioned the mortgage market. There are other parts of the property market that many investors around the world are starting to get very worried about. How do you view this dynamic, especially if rates stay a little higher for a little longer? Do you think that there will be a lot more stress?
Well, we know that commercial real estate is under a degree of pressure right now. We understand the factors for that. We've got an increasing rate environment that's not translating into yields. We've got changing behaviours in relation to colleagues going back to the office. There are factors. I mean, my view is that quality commercial real estate, office space that is in either new or has been refurbished and is in good locations, I am optimistic and positive for that part of the market. Areas that aren't in such good locations or not such good condition, they're vulnerable. The other part, of course, from an Irish perspective on commercial real estate is home building. And we know there's huge demand. Last year, Ireland produced 34,000 homes. We know there's demand of about 50,000. So, as CEO of Bank of Ireland, I'm very happy to support that part of commercial real estate to bring new homes to the market.
What is your conversation like with other lenders, other private capital providers right now?
Well, it is interesting. So there's what is clear is that there is plenty of capital out there to put into Ireland. In fact, in many ways, this week, meeting many of my investors in Bank of Ireland, because Bank of Ireland, we call ourselves a national champion bank in Ireland. That's because we've got a full coverage of financial services. In many ways, investing in Bank of Ireland is a way of investing in the Irish economy as well. And on that basis, there is strong support for Ireland.